What is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com, the place you go when you want action-packed content related to helping you grow your app downloads and your revenues. How to slow it down for the most important parts of your app business. And in part one of this YouTube series, we're going to talk all about how do you take your app idea to startup to ultimate success. And these are the things that you need to do before you even build the app. Joining me for this YouTube live series is Haim from B7 Dev. Go check him out if you're looking to build your app. It is b7dev.com. Haim, welcome back.
Hi, Steve. How are you? Thank you for having me.
All right, Haim, let's talk about this. One of the critical mistakes that you and I both see is when app creators treat their app as just an app, like a hobby, and not a real business.
Yeah, we always say that you need to create a company, not an app. Okay, what is the idea behind this? You need to foresee the budget and your energy and your ideas for more than just building an app. Okay, building an app is one of the first steps. We will see right now what is the natural progression to create an app, and then developing the app finally is not the end of it. It's just a part of the beginning, okay? You need to create a company. You need to take care of not just the app per se, but you need to foresee the budget or your energy, your techniques, your strategy for marketing, for custom service, for improving the app all the time, for content, for selling what you need to be sold, or like a brick and mortar business, like any physical store or any physical service that you can find in the real world. This is just translated to an app. Maybe even you will tell me, no, but I will develop a game. Okay, but the game also, you need customer service, you need marketing, you need to make this game known by all the people around there, or maybe it's a specific game for a specific niche. You need to reserve the niche before you do the development. Okay, maybe there is a special date that you want to release it because it happens to be something special, so the people will be more receptive, will be more open, will receive better the idea of an app or a game or whatever it is inside the app. Okay, so it's not just the app per se you need to do, you need to build a company. If we see the apps that they are doing well, it's not just a simple app, okay? It's not just a game. Maybe there are cases, like, I don't know, some simple games that they do great, but again, they have marketing, they have some strategies to grow, okay? It's not doing the app, releasing the app, doing the launch, and forget. It's not, never works like this. So you need to create a company, and a company is more than an app. In my specific business, we create the app, and then we'll always recommend other people if we have to. For example, you with the marketing, the growing strategy, etc. We always recommend to work with professionals, okay? Yeah. So let's start by the beginning. I have this idea. I was taking a shower. I have this brilliant idea. No one did it before. And I think that this is a gold pot, okay? It's the next big one, okay? But it's just an idea, okay? It's just an idea. You need to be able to develop the idea. You need to be able to explain the idea to others, to your partners, to your friends, to your I don't know, to your family. If you want some validation, you need to put into paper. I mean, by paper, you can put it into a doc, but you need to put it in some text or graphical format to explain to others, to get a quote, or to know what a developer needs to do, okay? So we have a process that has 4 parts, okay? The first part is the research, okay? You have this idea. The thing number one that you should do is to research, okay? You need to research. First of all, without doing nothing out of thinking about that, what other apps are doing the same, because you always says that maybe you think that no one is doing that exact idea, but you will find something very similar to it. Okay. Other than this, we have a lot of tools today. You can just Google it. You can go to the App Store. You can go to Google Play and see same ideas, how they did it. Okay, you can go even a step or a level up, going to professional sites such as App Annie, okay, Sensor Tower, such sites, just to name the the two of the most famous sites, when you can get all kind of insights of this kind of idea. Okay, so you can browse, you can take a look on different apps or similar apps. I mean, your idea, but with different take, and then you will discover a lot of stuff yet, well, you didn't think about, and then you can do your idea more consistent. Okay, so first of all, do the research, go to the reviews, check what the people is saying about
yeah, Jaime, let me stop you there because I want to take it step by step. But I think the most important part that you kind of just said in the first thing is treat it like a company. And like any other company, you have to think, where are you going to get your downloads? Is it organic, ASO, paid, right? And then how are you going to turn these downloads into users, right? Whether you have to register or anything else, or they have to actually use your app, not just download and leave. And then secondly, how are these users going to become paying customers? And so it's that funnel, that simple funnel that you have to really think through, rather than just being like, I've got this app idea and thinking about all the features. You really have to think about what features are going to be premium, what features are going to be locked, what features are going to be unlocked. And then now let's move on to the market research, which is what you're talking about, is really analyzing. One of the things that I love to do too, Jaime, is really looking at the top charts. And I'm going to show my App Annie screen with you guys here. And, we bring up Bianca's app, the co-parenting app that we talked about, but like looking through, and I'm only looking through productivity right now. So this is the App Annie, and I'm into the free account. I'm looking at the top charts, and I've selected the productivity category because we want to talk about chat apps as an example. But I talked about Talking Parents, which is a competitor, and it's a co-parenting app that Bianca, our friend, mutual client and friend, has. And I kind of said, okay, look at this, right? Like you can go into here, and Jaime brought it up earlier before I interrupted him, is looking at the reviews and kind of coming up with, all right, what do people really love about the app? What do people really hate about the app? And you can look at the ratings, favorable, 1-star, 5-star, and really thinking through that process. And the other thing that I like to do, Jaime, is look at the revenues. What's the potential revenues for me? And when we look at Sensor Tower right now, and you guys can sign up for sensortower.com for free, I just searched up Talking Parents, and then this is just the iOS. And here's what Sensor Tower. Now, it's not always like 900% accurate, but it gives you a ballpark number, and they're pretty accurate in terms of accuracy and the revenue numbers. They're pretty close to what the real revenues are. And so it gives you some ballpark number of the potential market that your app has.
Yeah, the excellent thing about those kind of sites, App Annie, Sensor Tower, is that you can get insights that some years ago, just doing a market research for this was worth thousands of dollars.
Right.
Okay, get the real world data on your idea. Okay, so this is excellent because your idea maybe is great, but no one is doing that. What that means, no one is doing that, because maybe there is no money on it, or maybe no one already developed the idea. So how you know that? You need to approach to the idea on small steps, trying to gather as much information as we can get with those amazing tools that we have today. Okay, again, this is amazing. Getting those insights is something that is a blessing, honestly. So the first step is, as we were talking about, is to research. The more data you can get from every possible angle, the better. Okay, search the potential competitors, search what they did okay, what they did wrong, what the people loves about the app, what the people hates about the app, not to do the same. Okay, try to even play a game. When you improve, what you will improve from this competitor, what you will copy from this competitor. Okay, everyone is doing that. I mean, there is no shame in copying something, because in the long run, everything is a copy of something that was before. Okay, so this is something that you have to do as a first step. Okay, the second step, if you want to go into there, is validating your idea. The first approach to validation. Okay, I condense all the information and I did a brief. Then I go to a friend, to a developer, to someone that I know that has the knowledge to tell me yes or no, or I mean, a qualified opinion. And they say, I have this idea. I want, what do you think about doing an app that does this, 1, 2, 3, 4? What do you think about that? I mean, just a second opinion, a third opinion, a fourth opinion, okay? And then we tell you, yeah, it's a nice idea, but I will love to do, wow, this is great. Did you also thought about adding this feature? Okay, so you are getting some real person opinion about this. A developer could tell you, for example, you contact me and I will tell you, this can be done with this technology, and we require this and this and that. Okay, but be aware that this feature could be difficult to do. Okay, so maybe this is expensive and then needs to be done in the future. You know, first feelings, first feedback about this, just this stage. Okay, they will help you to refine your idea more. Okay, to have another pair of eyes is better than your only conception about this idea. This is what I meant. Okay, the second step in this process is a very simple validation. Okay, or maybe someone will tell you, I don't think that this will work, and then that depends on you. If you quit, or you say, okay, why you think that this won't work? Maybe we can do something different. Okay, it's very long to explain, but from getting a second, a third, a fourth opinion, or a specialized opinion, you will get a lot of very valuable feedback. Okay, so after you have the research and you have some kind of first stage validation, you can go to the third step. Okay, the third step is condensing all this that you have in your mind, or in a small pad, in a small list on paper. You can throw it in a doc. You need to convert to something that a third party will understand. A partner, a potential investor, a developer. Okay, you need to create some kind of a simple document or complex document, the way that you like it more, but you need to explain other people, okay, what the app is about, how the app will be. Okay, you have several things to do it. You can do it by yourself. You can hire someone that is specialized on this process. We get a lot of requests for doing this, for making it on paper, your idea. So we will go on a process of, okay, tell me about your idea. Did you validate it? Maybe we will validate it also in this sphere. And then we will start to write about the idea, to wireframing, to doing some kind of document, or maybe also a spec documentation and a wireframe documentation to express in a graphical or textual way your idea. With this idea, again, you will explain how the app behaves, how the app is, what the user should do, what you expect the users to do, okay, in this stage. How many screens will have, how many buttons, okay? Maybe when you wireframe, you will understand that maybe you don't need so much buttons, so much screens. You can make it easier for the user to browse, to navigate through the app. It's an improving process.
Right. And we're going to go into detail on how do you build that MVP and how do you talk to your developer, your potential developers that you want to hire into more detail. So stay tuned for that one. But what's the last phase? You got the 4-part. So you got research, validation, mock-ups, and then what's the last one?
The last one is getting the funds. This is the most interesting part, because you can go with self-funding. I mean, I have some money I want to put into the idea, or I don't have the money, or I don't have enough money for the whole idea, so I need some funding. Okay, so again, we need to do a very long talk about techniques for recruiting, but basically you have friends and family to go for a funding, or you have angel investors, people that like your idea and they will help you with the money, or you have a special venture capitalist if the project is big or is on a very promising stage, or I mean, they will like for special projects to fund. But the simplest way is to go with your self-funding if the idea is simple enough to develop with your own funding. And then is generally when you try to save and to cut corners for in all the around all the app, that is called bootstrapping. I mean, trying to do it with the less possible money in order to stay alive up to the launch, having some money or some strategy for growing up, etc. Okay, so when you have the whole idea condensed in a document, you can go to a developer. You can, if you want to develop by yourself, you go bootstrapping and then you develop by yourself, or you can can try to go to a developer that will tell you what you need to do to bootstrap, or you can go to an investor and show these specs, this document, and tell, I got this quote from a developer, and then I need this and this and this money. Again, don't think just about the app. Consider also the marketing, also the growing strategies, also the customer support. I mean, the cost for at least the first year of functioning. Okay, so with all this, you go for funding. It's a very long talk about funding because there are a lot of strategies for this. Today, you have a lot of strategies for this, but basically, what you need to do is going, even if you go bootstrapping, or even if you are looking for funding, you need to be very precise on what you want to do as an app idea. Okay, it's not that you will just throw money on something that you are not sure of what you are doing. Okay,
got it. Love it. All right. In part 2, we're going to cover all about how do you document. So Haim kind of talked about it in this 3-part phase, but part 2 of our YouTube series, we're going to talk about how do you build that MVP? How do you decide what those MVP features should be? So minimum viable product, for those who are not nerdy on these acronyms. How do you figure out what those features to be? And how do you put together a documentation with mock-ups so that you can get the most accurate quotes? So make sure you tune in for that next video in this YouTube live series. And if you guys want to work with Haim and his team, go check out the website. It is b7dev.com, b7dev.com. Haim, I'll see you in part 2.
Thank you. We'll be back.